So welcome back, family. The Malian Armed Forces engage a group of JNI mercenaries in Sevare, Mopti, and according to the information we got, the Malian Armed Forces decided to launch a precision targeted strike at the staging point of these enemy fighters, and according to the provisional toll after the strike, reports stated that several dozens of these enemy fighters were neutralized instantaneously. Some escaped with various degrees of injuries. How did they know this? Because the situational reports from the fighters that went to the site of contact discovered blood trails around different directions where the enemy fled through. So it simply means that the enemy left the scene with various degrees of injuries from probably the shrapnels from the TNT. According to information, there was significant damage to the logistic capability of the JNI mercenary fighters. Now, when you look at the daily toll, the casualty on the enemy side, the billion-dollar question a lot of people would be asking at this point is, can the attrition rate of the enemy mercenaries, can it match this offensive onslaught of the Malian Armed Forces? Because daily we are getting so much information, confirmed combat frontline information on different air campaigns against these enemies. And when you look at the attrition rate, it's like the JNI does not even have an equal chance to fight back, because this is an area campaign. They don't have a solution to the current issue on the line of contact, which is the air bombardment that they have been taken from the Malian FAMa that has a superior capability. Another information that has really shown that the combat capability on the battlefronts from the Malian Armed Forces have changed is new developments we are seeing now from the Russian African Corps by also boosting the operational capability of the Malian Forces by incorporating the FPV drone on the line of contact. According to the report, the Russian African Corps stated that they were preparing to neutralize a group of JNI mercenaries while they were assembling this capability. Well, when you put all of this together, and the fact that on the 27th of May in the midnight, the Russian African Corps and the Malian Armed Forces launched a precision targeted strike in the Diabali region in Senegal, and they hit a JNI staging point that had multiple fighters in it. And according to information, there was an important figure that was present in this clandestine meeting. His name is Sedan Agita. According to reports, Sedan Agita is second in command in the JNI topmost echelon, and according to the information that we have, Sedan Agita was neutralized after a precision targeted strike on this particular staging point, followed by fire from several rounds of multiple propelled grenade launchers into the camp. It was a complete decimation of the mercenary fighters accompanying Sedan Agita. Now Sedan Agita, is eating what men don't eat anymore. And all of this only brings us down to one question. With this level of onslaught, does the JNIM have the capability to match the attrition on the battlefield, given the realities of the casualties on the line of contact? Ladies and gentlemen, that's the first information of today. Then we have another information. So a lot of people were surprised that the first group of people to bring out this information about the demise of Sedan Agita was the Western intelligence operatives. And a lot of people were asking me, Andre, why is it that these are the first people to bring out this information? Well, there's only one answer I'm going to give. They say follow the money and you know everything about the storyline. All right. If the USAID mission in Africa was basically to support financial logistics to these different jihadist groups in West Africa and in Africa totally. Look at what is going on in Congo right now, in the Democratic Republic of Congo. You already know the people involved. Now I'm going to say this: the USAID and other channels, NGOs. Now, this is not the first time they're giving us a very quick intel about fighters that have been neutralized on the line of contact. Sometimes they just release this information and everybody asks questions like, how did they know? The billion-dollar answer to that billion-dollar question is, who would be in the best position to know other than the guy that pays the bill of some of the top dogs that is carrying out their military objective? If Sedana Guitar was neutralized, the first person that should be informed is the guy that pays the top G of the JNIM. And you already know, they told you that the USAID is dead. But I don't believe, ladies and gentlemen, you can give me your opinion on what you think. The USAID, in my opinion, is still active in different forms. The NGOs are still doing their job. It's no fluke that the Alliance of Sahel States, they canceled a lot of NGOs, monitored their activities very strictly. And you can see the uprising, and you can see the roar from Western proxies like the Human Rights Watch and other organizations like that were trying to criticize this strict monitoring of these channels of Sodom and Gomorrah. So, ladies and gentlemen, the Malian authorities are now implementing new security measures to combat the scourge of terrorism in the Sahel. Ladies and gentlemen, let's listen to this report.
Call for strengthening mechanisms to combat terrorism in Mali. A directive from the transitional president, once again reiterated by two members of the government. At a meeting with the nation's key stakeholders this Tuesday, the minister in charge of territorial administration and his colleague from security left no doubt about the sinister intentions and operating methods of the terrorists.
What we expect from the nation's key stakeholders, as I have mentioned, is not to ask those who are not authorized to fight to take the place of those who are trained for it. When they have information, they can pass it on to the appropriate authorities in real time. The Minister of Security, who is here with me, has reminded everyone of the toll-free numbers. When someone from outside comes into a community and no one knows them, you need to be cautious and try to observe what that person is doing. The Ministry of Culture, which was represented, just like the Ministry of Youth, we asked those who rent out their premises or offer short-term rentals to people arriving for 2 or 3 days. We ought not to simply concentrate exclusively on the financial income that we earn.
The guests of the day expressed their full and unconditional support for Mali's cause, in line with the directions set out by the transitional authorities. Traditional chiefs, youth representatives, religious leaders, each one is proposing to explore new avenues in the immediate future.
We are preparing a major national gathering to inform people, to psychologically prepare the Malian population, and especially to encourage Muslim religious leaders to fully play their role in bringing peace and stability to Mali.
We will make every possible effort to share these resources with our communities and try to actively mobilize and support one another as much as we possibly can to assist the local authorities in their efforts to win this fight.
We will do everything possible to inform the Catholic Christian community of Mali. Pray at every event, at every Eucharist, at every Mass, for the country, for the leaders, for those in charge of this country.
Rekotrad, in all regions of Mali today, we communicate with everyone to say that everything you have seen, everything you hear, the authorities must be made aware of it, and in the proper discretion.
We earnestly call upon the Malian population to strive diligently to achieve complete stability throughout the entire nation of Mali, so that this great country can once again experience the lasting peace it once knew.
This meeting was later extended to the regional governors, this time via video conference.
Interministerial decree suspending the import, transit, marketing, sale, and free distribution of motorcycles with an engine capacity of 125 cubic centimeters or more, as well as their accessories. The Minister of State, Minister of Economy and Finance, the Minister Delegate to the Minister of Defense and Veterans Affairs, the Minister of Justice and Human Rights, Keeper of the Seals, the Minister of Transport and Infrastructure, and the Minister of Industry and Commerce hereby decree.
What do you think about this new measure? According to information, the main motorcycle of choice for these mercenaries of various sects is the Honda. They said it has multiple gears, it's very durable. Now, the Malian Armed Forces have discovered that on multiple occasions when they neutralize these elements, there's only one type of motorcycle they see, and it's the motorcycle from the Honda brand. That is why, they are clamping down on this particular product. Not just that, they've discovered that there are some other motorcycles that have this operational capacity to carry out the type of mission that the JNI wants to do. Now, this machine is very, very durable because sometimes some of these enemy fighters, they use these motorcycles to move from territories of other country into the Sahelian states. So that is why the Malians are trying to really, really look into this issue. And they have the right intelligence. Definitely, that's why they are acting on it. Now, ladies and gentlemen, after all of this and, the notorious April 25 Western Bar coup d'etat that failed in Mali woefully, we now have the French intelligence agents that are working for French media. They were trying to create a narrative in Gabon. They questioned the president of Gabon, what he thinks about what they termed the pushists in the Sahel. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to listen to the response. Let's watch this video.
Throughout 2023, as you said, you refused to use the term coup d'etat. You call it a liberation coup. You also opted for a short transition period. It was supposed to be 2 years, but now it will even be less with elections coming up. We will see one in April. That's still very different from what's happening in the Sahel. I see you're smiling. You don't want to be compared to the putschists in the Sahel.
Putschist, maybe that word is a bit too strong. It's not a term I would use for my fellow military colleagues. There is absolutely no reason at all, or to constantly feel the need to place the blame on other people around you. I'm telling you, they are my brothers in arms. We are not severing our diplomatic relations with the major global powers. As proof, the French in Gabon and others, no one has been troubled.
You came to power in Gabon by overthrowing the existing government. You have always said that your case was different. In the Sahel, we see that the military has no intention of stepping down, no intention of organizing elections, and they are excluded from regional and continental bodies. Do you speak, and what do you say to them?
Now, moving on to talk about the ongoing and complex situation in the Sahel. Let me just say something. It's you who always bring it up. At some point, I think we should just leave them alone. Better yet, if we don't talk about it, they'll focus on what they have to do. But as for me, I say this, I am a man of peace. And we are in a place that embodies peace, democracy, and dialogue. If we say that peace goes hand in hand with elections, then we must hold elections. If we say that freedoms go along with elections, then elections must be held. If we say that stability rhymes with elections, then elections must be held. And I think it is high time we look to the future. And as we look to the future, we have the Gabon model, which worked, the Guinea model that we created with President Doumbouya, which also worked. We also have 2 other models that are there apart from the Sahel, and I think they'll work too. There is oppression in Malagasy, which is in transition, and which I will receive in Libreville, which arrives in a few days. We will discuss these issues of peace, stability, and elections. And I think he too already has a desire to go to the elections. So we need to encourage them. And you also have the Guinea. I'm former President Mbalo, as are you.
Guinea-Bissau.
Guinea-Bissau, you found it. Thank you for the name, Guinea-Bissau. There is also a desire among the parties for the elections in December. He set a target of 1 year, we exchanged views, and he is committed to respecting the date. In Madagascar, they set a 2-year timeline, just as we did, and they are also committed to respecting their date. We will see how things unfold in these countries, and so that others understand that if elections bring stability, bring peace, bring development, then it is time for people to be able to go to the polls. We have weak economies, as you mentioned in your questions. Today, we cannot benefit from our economies when everything is spent on war efforts. It does not benefit the people. The effort of war helps no one. It is the people who suffer from it. They need universities, they need everything, water, electricity. So wasting all this money to pay for weapons, I believe that is no longer the norm today. We need to find a way to bring about calm. And what I'm saying is, we need to let them act, we need to support them. They are sovereign states. What we can do is offer advice. But we cannot impose anything on a head of state, whether they are in transition or not. They remain the head of state of their country. So do not impose anything on them. Let's find ways, models to support them in achieving calm. Without frustrating them, without looking down on them or looking up at them. No, that doesn't work anymore. And I think that if we take this approach, things will move forward. We saw that at the African Union, there was a change of Commission President, there was a change of Secretary General of the African Union. These are new faces, and so they have taken charge of the matter. They are looking into it, they are discussing with them. Let the African Union discuss it. These are African problems, and we will find African solutions. And I am confident.
You see, this is what we have been expecting from a lot of African leaders, where they stand next to each other like brothers that they are. You know, matter of fact, I'm very, very proud of the president of Gabon, but if it were someone like me, I would even say something much worse. You see, why are these French personnel trying to hide their economic debacle, that is multifaceted at this point? Why are they trying to hide it on the political situation in the Alliance of Sahel? And who gave that authority to some group of people to dictate the sovereign decision and political issue of another country? The last time we checked, France is just another country in Europe. So what has Mali got to do with France? What has Burkina Faso got to do with France? What has Niger got to do with France? You see, gone are the days where people try to sneakily impose narratives. We are not going to fall for that. And that is why we are here all day, every day, to continue to share this message to a lot of people that this is what is going on. There's nothing like pushists. You've just heard it from the president. If they were what these corny individuals from a corny place, if these leaders were what they claimed they were, a lot of leaders in Africa will not be embracing them right now. What they have done for the people of Africa is honorable. We love it and we respect it. And if they want to get another opinion, they might help us ask from the president of the National Assembly of Senegal, President Ousmane Sonko. They can ask him and he will give his own candid opinion. Now we have another information that we need to talk about, because President of the National Assembly of Senegal, President Ousmane Sonko, has just given his own take on the current geopolitical situation in Senegal, and he also extensively discussed the rapprochement he had with the president of Senegal, President Bassirou Diomaye Faye, and he gave us a little bit of information about their conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, let's listen to this report.
We are here to support him. That's why I said earlier that if I wanted to, and if the motion passes tomorrow, even in 72 hours, this government could fall, because we have the ability to censure. But we're not here for vendettas. We are first and foremost concerned with the higher interests of this country, and that's why we will not censure. We are going to support them. And I told him that yesterday in his office. Your opponent is not us. Even looking ahead, 2022, 2029, we are not your opponents. It's not us. If you want to achieve something in 2029, respond to the concerns of the Senegalese people. When you are in power, your record is not about whether you managed to eliminate this or that political figure, etc. You should ask the previous regime about that. Your record is about whether you addressed issues like purchasing power, access to water, electricity, healthcare, and so on. That's what the record is about. So, whoever takes on that responsibility, we are here to support them. Everything that falls under the National Assembly's responsibility in passing laws, in implementation, budgetary support, oversight of public policies, oversight of government action, everything within the National Assembly's power, we are here to provide it and support them so they can succeed. Because if he succeeds, we will have succeeded as well. That's where we stand. But it takes two to make peace. It takes two to make peace. And the provocations have already begun. Because everything they are doing, summoning deputies in the middle of a session, trying to arrest them in the old National Assembly, arresting activists left and right, is meant to provoke passivity, to provoke a reaction, especially among the youth, and to be able to communicate an image of a party that would be seen as belligerent as a party, etc. That's why I'm once again calling on the youth, stay calm. The directive has always been the same for a long time. Remain calm and composed. Continue the political work entrusted to you, mass mobilization, communication, organization. Some statements bring nothing to the party. Some behaviors bring nothing to the party. So for peace, it takes two. It is absolutely essential that they must not be the very first ones to provoke any conflict. To use the exact same manipulative tactics and strategies that people have used for over 10 years to attack Sonko, to systematically destroy his entire past reputation, by using the justice system, the Constitutional Council, and the various branches of the national security forces. They need to move away from that because there are people making them believe in it. It will bring them absolutely nothing. Let us remain calm. Let us put the higher interest of this country above all other concerns. Let us get to work to ease the burden on Senegalese people. Let us reassure Senegal's partners, donors, and investors. Because if we enter into a crisis of dissolution or censure, they will never reach an agreement with the IMF. And no one will come to Senegal to invest. I shouldn't have been the first to worry about these issues. It should have been the president himself. I call on everyone to take responsibility. And for an intelligent dialogue, a smart and ongoing political dialogue, constructive for the good of the country. Afterwards, each political group will carry out its political actions to achieve its political objectives within the framework of this country's laws. We must avoid plunging this country back into what it experienced not so long ago. Neither we nor President Bassirou Diomaye Faye have the legal or moral right to act in this manner. From this very moment onward, I would also like to take this opportunity to say that I want to pay a very special and heartfelt tribute first to all those involved, to the gentlemen and ladies here around me. All over Senegal, all over Africa, your attitude has been praised, because it is not common in Africa to take this position. I was saying this morning that PASEP is starting to slip. The geopolitical situation in Senegal has reached a level we never imagined. Often we saw these kinds of configurations in what are called the great democracies, etc. The whole debate is whether we can do it, succeed together with our positions, with those in power, without damaging our institutions and without reopening the door to the old demon, the door to the old demon, the door to the old demon.
At the end of the day, the news is getting tighter on the enemies of progress in Africa. Generally, a day at a time, a step at a time, we will get there. So ladies and gentlemen, you can kindly give us your opinion on what you think about all of this. It's your boy 7200 signing out in ourselves. But before I go, I want to say thank you to everyone that has donated to sponsor this particular video. You know, you all are the only ones that sponsor what we do. You know, we don't get funded from any access, because we've heard lately some people saying that probably maybe I got paid. Well, people that have been paying me on the Android community, I'll say Bazan, I would say Mr. Nelson, I would say Flavor Blade, I would say Ignatius Moore, I would say Simanera. So if you want to talk about me being paid, then you look at the Android community. These are the people that pay for what we do on the Android community. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching and God bless you.